Why do the British seem to treat war like a badly organized picnic? To understand this, we have to go back to a time before the World Wars, when the British Empire was still expanding. Naval captains in the Age of Sail were famous for changing into their best coats before a battle. They insisted that if they were going to be killed, they ought to be properly dressed. Colonial campaign reports describe officers pausing under fire to light their pipes, discuss hunting, and complain about the temperature of their tea, as if enemy bullets were just an annoying distraction. This performance of dignity had a real impact. When soldiers saw their leaders acting as if nothing was wrong, they often felt steadier themselves. If the colonel can stand in full view of the enemy and casually ask if anyone has seen his gloves, maybe the situation isn't completely hopeless. Of course, sometimes it was just suicidal posturing. But the myth of calm in chaos became ingrained in the institution, passed down through memoirs, bar stories, and regimental folklore. Regimental life itself became a factory for eccentric traditions. Mess rules dictated bizarre customs, toasts delivered while standing on chairs, forbidden words that had to be replaced with elaborate inside jokes, and punishments involving drinking strange concoctions for social blunders. These rituals might sound trivial, but they forged powerful bonds between officers. When war came, these same men carried the mess's nonsense to the front line. One of the most surreal examples comes from Arnhem in 1944. Major Digby Tatham Warder, a parachute regiment officer, decided radios were unreliable. So he trained his men to use bugle calls, like something out of the Napoleonic Wars. He also carried an umbrella into battle because he kept forgetting the password. His logic was impeccable. Anyone seeing a man strolling under shellfire with an umbrella would assume he was too mad to be an enemy. At one point, he reportedly disabled an armored car by poking the driver in the eye with that same umbrella through an observation slit. It sounds like a comedy sketch, but it was tactical improvisation wrapped in absurdity. The humor in these stories is often darker than you'd expect. During World War I, a unit suffering heavy casualties near Ypres nailed a sign by a shell crater that read, "Swimming pool, deep end." In the Second World War, a coastal battery commander sent a simple signal after repelling a German raid: "Situation normal. Difficult, but not serious." This became a catchphrase. Even the now cliched "Keep calm and carry on" was part of a wartime poster series that assumed the public would face terror with a stiff upper lip, a cue, and a joke about the weather. Improvisation often looked just as absurd. In the early days of tank warfare in North Africa, British crews bolted spare tracks, sandbags, and even old doors onto their vehicles for extra protection. Engineers patched hulls with concrete and anything else that would stick. One improvised mine-clearing device was a massive drum with chains attached to the front of a tank, which spun to beat the ground ahead. It looked ridiculous, but it worked well enough to become a standard tool. These specialized tanks, nicknamed Hobart's Funnies, looked like lunatic inventions to the Americans. For the British, they were just the latest expression of a let's bodge something together mindset. This creative spirit extended to deception operations. Planners created phantom armies with rubber tanks and fake radio traffic, but they also focused on the tiny human details. They arranged for bogus units to receive mail, for non-existent soldiers to send letters that would be accidentally overheard, and even for laundry orders to appear near supposed camps. They understood that if you want the enemy to believe in your ghosts must complain about the food. This attitude resurfaced in later conflicts. During the Falklands War, Royal Marines and Paras jokingly dubbed their brutal march across the islands, yomping, treating each new hardship as a chance for a mock complaint. In Iraq and Afghanistan, British troops bonded over rickety vehicles and equipment shortages. They turned frustrations into jokes and improvised fixes, building makeshift gyms from scrap metal and decorating dusty bases with signs for imaginary pubs. From the outside, it might seem like the British don't take war seriously. But the opposite is true. The more serious the situation, the more they cling to silliness, understatement, and ritual. The umbrella, the sarcastic joke, the over-polite complaint, it's all a kind of cultural armor against real fear. These habits are so theatrical they've become part of Britain's global image. The slightly mad tea-drinking islanders who somehow keep turning up in history's worst disasters, behaving as if it's all just a bit of an inconvenience. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this look into military history, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more stories like it.